First of all, Deb told me today this is a holiday. I go, what holiday? He said, 4th of July. I go, you're kidding me. So if you think I knew that, you know I don't even know what day of the week this is. Really excited. Felt this was a good time to do this. We're at Kentucky and we're in June talking basketball and going over this. That's what this program is. Excited because I'm coaching. I'm in coaching gear. When I'm done here, I'll go coach. We're going to Toronto, so I get a chance to be on the court. And it's been a ball. Great kids, great stuff going on. So I'm jacked. Like, okay, let's get this going. Let me couple statements to that, and I'll open this up. But first of all that's going on in college basketball, we're going to be guided by the principles that I've been that have been with me since I started coaching, which is players first. I came in here in 2010 and I said this would be about players first. Not changing. Not changing. I know what's going on around us, but we're going to continue to recruit the best players. Many of them will be young. This will be transformational, not transactional. I'm not changing that. The culture's not changing. You're going to come in with other really good players. You're going to have to compete. You're not promised anything. You're going to have to take what you want. You're going to have to find your way. You're going to have to be a great teammate. You're going to have to share. That's what this program has been about, and every program that I've coached. And you know why we'll stay where we are? Because it's worked for players, it's worked for the programs, it's worked for the athletic departments, it's worked for the campuses. We're rolling that way. Name, image, and likeness. I'm not going to share everything we do because it's a competitive advantage here. Now, the reason I'm not sharing, because I got a lot of people, how are you doing it? Coaches, what are you guys doing? By coming here, if you're a terrific player, what's added to your value is being at Kentucky. It's here. Little Wayne said to me, if you don't mind me dropping a name, he said, I like how you just keep it in-house, what you do. And everybody, he said, it's like my lyric. Real G's stay silent like lasagna. Now, I have no idea what that means, but he gave it to me and said, you need to roll with that. And so we're not going to be in the business of sharing all the stuff that we're doing here. So there'll be things that are said, some of them are right, most of them are wrong, but that's fine. I'm not going to respond to it all. Our kids, we got the #1 recruited class in the country. It didn't happen if we're not on top of what we're doing. But I'm going to say it again, even with NIL, I do not want it being transactional. I want it to be transformational, where it's about educating. It's not just about the gathering. Our kids have gotten involved in communities and charity. Obviously, when you're educating, you're trying to say, here's what compounding interest does. Here's what investing at an early age does. Or you can just spend it all and have nothing. So it's more than just we are doing this for you and I want you to do this for me. We're not rolling that way. Aaron Bradshaw was unbelievable in the camps in our community. The kids loved him, the parents loved him. You know, and again, we've done the Eastern Kentucky, Western Kentucky. We've traveled to do for both the floods and the tornadoes. This year we went back to the camps around the state, and thousands showed up. And let me say this, he was one of the stars. Had a foot injury, had a choice to make. Do you let it heal or do you do an operation? He waited for a minute to say, let me see this. But at the end of the day, he said, I want an operation because I want to play. So he'll be back on campus this weekend, being a boot. I had told him and the team a while ago he would not be going to Toronto. Then he said it publicly, but he will not be with us in Toronto, obviously. He'll be getting healthy. But, you know, I look at him, and for him, he made that decision. He could have waited it out and then saw that it could work and he could be fine, but he said, I don't want to take a chance. I want to play. All right, any questions? Yes.
With Aaron, just how much of a setback is that for him to not get these early practices, not get that Canada trip, especially for a young guy who's obviously still developing at a position that's a tough transition to make to this level?
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but we've had guys that couldn't be there in the summer and came back and played great. And all I can tell you is every time he grabs me, he says, I love you, coach. Like, this kid is so excited about being here and wants to help us win. These guys know, even in practice, every practice, the drills are you win or you lose. Everything we do is with score, you win or you lose. You're teaching them winning matters. With him, winning matters. I want to come here and I want us to win. All these young guys are the same, and the guys that are returning are the same. But for him, it would have been better if he played. But he'll be fine.
Do you have any fear that he might miss even part of the regular season? Or
not from what the doctors are telling me, but we will not rush him back, and we won't, you know, it's for what he did and how he did it and how quickly. Like when he decided, it was a day and a half later or 2 days later he had the operation. So he wants to play.
Usually with these.
Right here.
What's the change that you're gonna do? Have they grown a lot off season? How much better are they now?
Well, both of them are way better. I mean, they have Uganda projected in the first round. I mean, I didn't project him in the first round, but he's projected in the first round. I said, who is watching us practice? Because he's gotten better. You have Adu, who's looking more and more physically like his dad, who I coached. He's probably near 6'7" now, and he could play multiple positions, probably 3 and a 4, but he's way more confident. So yes, he's better. He's living in the gym. He learned from a year ago, you have to spend time at this. It doesn't just happen. It's not just games. It's about the preparation. So he's been great. Yes.
Sorry about that. Usually with these trips, you let the assistants coach a bit. With the younger team this year, do you plan to be more hands-on there, or do you kind of want to just keep that system?
I'm not sure yet. I will coach the exhibition friendly, and I can evaluate better when I'm not coaching. It's easier to evaluate. But this is a USA team, so it's not us going and playing in the Bahamas. So I may coach the games. I'll see how all this goes, and if I don't need to, I probably won't, but it's a little different environment than I've had in the past. Yes.
You guys recently added Trey Mitchell, somebody you posted that you've known for a while, and you get Antonio back, get some of those older guys. How important is it to have those guys? And are you kind of done with this roster where it's sitting at now with players you have, or are you looking to maybe add anybody else to that?
Well, because everything has changed, you have a lot of teams they need guys. I'm going to make a guess, and I've been wrong before. I think it was 1978, 77. I would say 10 more transfers will happen maybe in August. So a team that thinks they have guys, you're not going to have that guy. So why would that happen? How could that happen? Raise your hand if you have no idea what I'm talking about. You can't. There you go. Transfer because they graduated from the other school. They can do that on August 28th and transfer because they graduated. They don't have to, there's no time limit, there's nothing. My guess is at least 10 that will happen to. So you could make a foreign trip and the kid had graduated, and he comes back home and he says, I'm going somewhere else. Might be something to do with NIL, but it may not be. So this is all different than we've ever dealt with in the past. One guy said, do you think there's anybody with 13 kids on scholarship? I said, probably not. So you asked me, will we do anything else? I don't believe so, but what if this happens and that happens? Maybe we would. It's a little different environment. And with us, if you're about players and they're putting their name in the draft, you have to let them go through the process. By going through the process, especially if one waits till the last day, that'll affect transfers. They don't know if he's coming back or not. What else would affect transfers? If you have the #1 recruited class and 5 of them are projected to be, or 4 in the first round, would that affect you? Yeah. I mean, that's all stuff that would affect a team. What I like for us, we were always in a strong position. I mean, I was never panicked about anything. So, you know, where we are, I'm happy about. We got veterans. The best teams I've coached had really good young players and some veterans. Now, those veterans weren't older veterans. Sometimes they were sophomores and juniors. But they were veterans in that they played college basketball. Right now, Antonio doesn't look like the same guy. You know why? There's no anxiety. He knows what this is. He walks in, now he talks more. Now he's not like, where do I? He knows, and he's just playing. That's like a second year here. But we got a bunch of young guys that are going through the anxiety, am I good enough? What is this? And then watching them play, great, they get along so well. It's a good group. And I wish Aaron was healthy, because we'd have 2 7-footers, and we have this, and we have these guards, and we're a top 50 team and all the other stuff. But it would be good to have him, but without him, we get to see some other guys. Now we get to see, okay, what if we have to put him at 4? What if we have to put him at 5? What if we want to go smaller? What if we want to go bigger? How we play all kind of comes down to who we're playing. You know, teams are going to have to do what I've done here, which is you don't really know your team, so you can't say we're going to play a certain way. You don't know who your team is. How do you know how you're going to play? I just know when we had Maxey and those guys, your top 20 offense. When we had Kellen in that group, we were top 5 offense. We're top 20 offense last year, and we played different all 3 years. We had to. The teams, there were certain ways. I had people talk to me about last year. You could only play one way with that team if you wanted to win, or if you're worried about what it looks like. Here, as you probably know, winning does matter. And so you're playing in a way that, how do I do this? Yes.
There was a point early in the summer where
what was that thing again? Little G's.
Something about lasagna, I have no idea.
Move in silence.
Move it.
Move in silence.
Yeah. So now I'm going to be silent. No, go ahead.
There was a point early in the summer where the roster was basically 5 freshmen and 2 sophomores. The anxiety level of the fan base was off the chart. You trying to tell us this is going to be the new normal going forward, a late in-year roster?
Yes. There was an Elite 8 team or a Sweet 16 team. You ready? Signed 4 in August. They signed 4 guys in August. There are teams right now that may change in August because this guy or that guy goes with them. Until the NCAA gets their act in order, this is what we're dealing with. So as a coach, you understand we got guys in the draft that are waiting to make a decision, which means it's hard for other guys to do. You got the top class in the country, and 4 of them are projected first round. 2 or 3 of them are lottery picks. You want to come in? If you're transferring, you would have been in the draft if you were a first-round draft pick. You're not, and you're looking at them as though they are. Yeah. So it changes the dynamic. What happened with Trey was fate. If Hugs doesn't have an issue, that kid loved Bob Huggins. He wasn't leaving. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, what's happened? I'm out. That's fate. But I'm saying if it wasn't him going forward, it probably would have been somebody else.
So late August.
And you just, look, we waited for Jamal. We waited for different guys and got them later. And it's all played out. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to come here wanting the competition, wanting what this is. The principles I'm not changing. They guide us. The culture, it's not changing. It'll change young people, but it's not changing. The kids have done well. I mean, they go in the league and they perform at a high level, and they're all great teammates. I talked about Jamal Murray. I went and saw that game against Devon in Denver. In the beginning, the first half, he has like 5 points. I grabbed Roger. I said, Roger, he got to be aggressive. He can't be playing like this. Game ends, he has 20-some in the second half, and they win. And he talks to me after. I said, why did you start the way you did? Because my job is to see who I can get going, who's going to help us. So I start a little slower. That is a great teammate. Think about that. He starts slower so he could see. And that's, what we're trying to do here. Create good teammates and give them opportunities, be transformational. And then they all know the more we've won, that's when 5 or 6 of them get drafted. If you win, so winning matters here. It matters for them, it matters for us, it matters for the program. Winning is what this is about. Yes?
How much this team that we're going to see in Canada, you've only had a couple of weeks, and then Trey coming in now.
10 days.
Yeah, how much will
10
this
days.
look like Kentucky basketball in 2 months than here, or how much can you put in?
All right, so how much would you put in?
Run and get open.
Let's do a little pick and roll. Let's space the court. What would you do defensively?
Man to man.
Yeah, or play zone. We can't guard anybody. Okay. The other thing is these are 23-year-old teams, which in Europe means they are professionals. Canada, Germany, and an African team, they're all 23. Well, we're going to be coming in, and their teams that have been together. So last year Baylor went 1-4. There's a chance we go 0-4. Did we learn? Did we get better? Do we all walk away and say, I'm loving this, we're going to be fine? Because we're playing against those older teams. We're trying to make it so that they can play off of one another. I love the guards, the way they're playing, how they're creating for each other. Ugo's gotten way better. Adu, but we're in this isn't me taking a team to the Bahamas, putting the other teams together, knowing we're winning by 30 and we're team building. We're trying to get, this is different. Plus we got USA on our backs, which will I coach, won't I coach? I've never coached in the summer, but this may be one that I do because of USA.
You were talking about the culture and those and what we do here and those kind of things. We saw DJ recently did the commercial with Dick's and did the charity. How much are these new guys buying into this culture, even though it's been a short time since they've been here?
They've been terrific. I mean, I still have to have that meeting because the name, image, and likeness. I got to talk to them about compounding interest. Put money away now. Don't spend this money. You can take care of your family and all that stuff. Do that. I got to talk about you bring joy to yourself by what you're doing for other people. You saw it in all the camps we did, the satellites. They saw what the kids and the families and the grandparents and all the people that were there, they saw it and felt it. So being involved in community and doing that stuff, they'll learn. Now, name, image, and likeness has become transformational. If it's not that, forget about the work, doing this, we're giving you this, you play. Now it's transactional. They have plenty of time for stuff to be transactional. Right now, let's do those things.
Yeah, John, as you said, there's a lot of things going on right now, not just in college basketball and college athletics. Mitch said the other day you were part of the group that went to Washington to talk to the Kentucky congressional delegation. What changes? And others. What changes would you like to see? What
do you really want to hear? No one. When I call the dog, he goes the other way. When I talk to my wife, she says, I can't hear you. Do you really want to hear what I'm saying?
That's why I asked the question.
The first thing that we can solve easily is the transfer portal. Easily. It used to be you had 5 years to play for. Go back to it. You got 5 years to play 4. If you want to transfer without penalty, you can once. If you get hurt or transfer again or whatever, it goes on the end. You have to sit out the year and then you do it. If you have mental health issues, whatever else, it's on the end. If you have a religious 2-year mission, you get another year. Now you got 6. If it's military and you have a deployment, you got another year. You got 6. Other than that, in high school, they give you semesters, don't they? Do they let you play at 23 in a high school game? You can't. So we got guys playing at 26 and 27. I'm for the players. I wish they make, but this is about safety of an 18 and 19. We played 17-year-olds. We've played. So now you say you have 5 years to play 4. We'll come together and that's it. No more COVID year. Next year, no. We decided we're not doing another COVID year. So a 28-year-old now becomes 29 and plays. He has 2 kids, his wife. He's on his 2nd marriage, but he's playing. Can't do this. That's not what this was. And so we can change that, would eliminate 70% of our problems. Now that I said it, is there any chance we'll do that? No. No chance. But that's an easy solution that we don't need government. Anybody out there that is a businessman, listen to this. Do you want government in your business? Any of you want government in your business? No, we're asking government to get in our business. So why don't we try to solve some of this ourselves? And then the major thing you need from government is so that the NCAA can maneuver and work as it should. That's the only thing you're asking for. Name, image, and likeness. Make it transparent. Don't we have a clearinghouse for academics? Why don't we have a clearinghouse for name, image, and likeness? Listen, if I called my dog, he's running the other way. This doesn't matter. You're asking me my opinion, and they won't do it. I said from day one, we should encourage all the kids that are name, image, and likeness to have X amount that you can take from that money to use for your families or whatever else. The rest goes into a fund that you, in your name, in what you want it in. You do know on our campus, every one of our students can get a Fidelity account for free. Did you know that? Dr. Capilouto started that. A free Fidelity. How about if our freshmen put in a few hundred and all of a sudden they learn about it and now the compounding, what we've done is enormous. Well, how about if my players who are making money are able to do that and leave instead of with student debt, leave with a few $100,000 or more to start their life. Wouldn't that be good? Well, that you can't, you'll get sued. For doing something right and good, come on. I mean, I want the kids to make as much as they can. I just don't want it to harm them. I don't want them to lose their competitive spirit and fight. You know what I say? Don't trip over nickels trying to get to a max contract in the NBA. Don't be tripping over nickels. So all this stuff that, and let me say this, and Deb will tell you, I'm only worried about my 12. I'm not sharing what we're doing. I'm not going to. The way we're doing this, knowing that some transfers are not built for this, we'll talk to them. Some of it we figure out. Some of it they figure out. But at the end of the day, the principles won't change. The culture won't change. How we play depends on the personnel. That changes some. How we defend changes some. We're a little different now that you got a couple 7-footers. Now you can block shots. My best teams have blocked shots. My worst teams have not blocked shots. My best teams have blocked shots. My worst teams haven't blocked shots. My best teams have blocked shots. Block shots.
Couple more. The 2 most recent freshman arrivals, Jordan Burks and Joey Hart, what would be realistic expectations for their roles or their contributions that they could make this coming season?
Really too early to tell, but I got a great text from Jordan, just, Coach, thank you. Appreciate, you know, I mean, don't you want people that are dying to play at Kentucky versus they're here for whatever else they've been promised? Or you want guys that absolutely want to be here because this is hard. It's not for everybody. It's not for every coach. If you listen to all the stuff and try to respond to it as a coach, you can't coach. They're wrong. Let them be wrong. They say this and this. What do you think? I agree. Can we move on? I mean, as a player, you cannot, you read or hear something here, how are you going to play? So he's going to do fine. Joey will do fine. They may be on a different path. We don't know yet. They may step up, and you know I'm going to play the best people. And they're all spending time. I just love that I'm seeing. I go when I'm in my office and I look out the window, and even if I go in there late to do something, somebody's in there getting up shots. Somebody's in there working out. Morning, somebody's in there doing stuff. Those have been my best teams, because when you commit like that, you don't surrender real fast. You'll fight. You've invested too much. You're going to fight. The guys that tried to do it, run around, it's hard, man. When the stuff hits the fan, you're not there. These kids are like some of the better players that I've coached. A couple more before I go to practice. Yes.
Hired John Welsh this offseason. What's your vision for him in this role this season with this group specifically? I'm
going to talk about John, but I'm going to talk about staff at another point, because I still am adding a couple things, a couple pieces, and again, I don't know if I'll explain it all to you why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I don't want that out there. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Is that it?
Bingo.
That's
okay.
it.
But for John, I wanted a workout guy that was a coach, that loved being in the gym. They called him Johnny Gym Rat when he was with the Clippers, he was with Denver, he was with Sacramento. He is in the gym. That's what he wants to do, and that's where he wants to be. I've known him for 25 years maybe. When I was putting in the dribble drive, before all the other, he was one of the guys that came in and we spent time, and I went out and spent time to really learn it. So I know, like I told him, I need all these breakdowns to peel into what we're doing in the dribble drive with this group. And he's been great. And I wanted one, look, in the old days, when I first started now, it wasn't that long ago, 22 years ago, you had 2 assistants. They also did the academics. So you had 2 guys. The academic, you have 6 guys, you have 6 guys. You know who did the weight training? We did it. We didn't have a weight strength coach. You went down, and so you were doing push-ups and chin-ups, and you did all this stuff. Now we have to separate some of this so someone is responsible, and what we'll do with the rest of the staff. And recruiting's changed a little bit. I'm not going to go into depth. Lasagna. We're just going to say lasagna, which means I'm being silent. But recruiting is going to change a little bit because of how this is all playing out. But yeah, he's going to be good. The players love him. He loves being there. So still got other stuff to do with staff. And that probably within the next 10 days to 2 weeks, we'll lay everything out. Anything else for me? Yes.
Post-draft, aside from Kaysen,
what's that?
Aside from Kaysen, guys getting ready for the summer league, Jacob, Oscar.
Jacob, I think, is hurt. I'm not sure he's going to play.
Got you. But just the conversation. Obviously, they wanted to be drafted, but what did you say to them just to get ready to grind?
I said to all 3 of those players, I gave them the downside. This could happen. So don't let anybody tell you this couldn't happen. This could happen. I do it with every player. Can you deal with this happening? Yes. Okay. Then it became, now if you're not drafted, 2 ways are not guaranteed. You may get an E10. Do you know what an E10 is?
Exhibit 10.
What is an Exhibit 10?
10 days.
No. But that's good. It was a good idea, but it's not right. Exhibit 10. They give you like $75,000 to go to camp and do all that. Drew Timmy got an E10. Drew Timmy got an E10. Had to work to get guys 2-way contracts, which aren't guaranteed. They got to go to camp, and they may be guaranteed, but they don't have to be. And with Chris Livingston, I was ecstatic because he's going to have a chance. And I told Rich, you did a heck of a job giving him that opportunity in Milwaukee where they need somebody like him, or he's got a chance, roster and all the other stuff going. The other kids got to fight their way in. But here's what I would say. Do you know how many players across the country would like to have a foot in the door, like Oscar and like Jacob, to try to do this and make their run? You got to get a foot in the door. We've had almost 70% of our players have been drafted or gotten their opportunity in the NBA. Most of them drafted. And it's not normal. It's not normal. Does that make sense to what you were saying? I think they'll be fine. Oscar's jacked. You know, they're liking him in Indianapolis. Now he's going to have to get on the court because they met with him and said, oh, what a great kid he is. Now he's going to have to go do it. And I think he will. I think Jacob too. Jacob, you fight. You learn to fight, now fight. You make it because you got everything you need to be in that league. Everything. Now go fight. I was happy for Kaysen. I was sitting there and I was worried. I was making calls out ahead of 10. And they looked at me and said 10. I said, 10. I got mad when one guy got picked before him. And Kaysen laughed because he knew I was mad. I didn't show emotion. He said, you're mad, aren't you? Yes, I'm mad. And then he went 10. Again, he's a kid that's prepared for this moment. So I was happy for him.
Can we do one more?
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick one. There's been a lot of Lil Wayne talk today, but you're going to Toronto and you're very close to the mayor of Toronto.
He's not in town. He's doing, you know, I checked. Come on. Now, I do have keys to his house, so I may drop the team by his house because I want to see the court. It has Toronto Raptors. We'll leave some Kentucky, you know, stuff there. But believe me, I already called. Said, come on, I need you to coach my team and be up here. But he's in, I think the first night he's in Detroit. I think he's close, but he's not in Toronto.
Thank you.
All right? Thanks, guys. Let me get to practice.